There's a moment in every boxer's life when the crowd fades, the bell rings, and it's just fists, fear, and whatever fire's left inside. Albert Finch lived for that moment. Not the headlines, not the belts, but that split second where you either push forward or get folded. And more times than not, Albert pushed. He came up in South London, one of 7 kids packed into a Croydon home. Not much money, not much space, but somehow there was always time for boxing. He started throwing punches at 8 years old, and by the time most kids were still learning to tie a tie, he'd already carved out a name in amateur rings across the country, winning 63 out of 68 bouts with nothing but instinct and raw nerve. His professional debut came on a quiet night in Soho, 1945. No grand fanfare, just him, Eddie Stars, and 6 rounds of hard learning that ended in a draw. But Finch wasn't in it for easy wins. He wasn't in it to impress anyone either. He was building something, brick by brick, fight by fight. By 1948, he'd claimed the Southern Area middleweight crown after a grueling 12-round decision over Mark Hart. But that wasn't the fight people were talking about. A few months earlier, inside the Royal Albert Hall, Albert had done what no one else had. He handed a young Randolph Turpin his first loss. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't quick, but it was clean. A decision win that turned heads and opened doors. Doors like the one that led to Dick Turpin, Randolph's older brother and the reigning British and Commonwealth middleweight champ. They fought in Birmingham, and Finch gave everything, but Dick edged him on points. No complaints, no excuses. That was Finch's way. But in 1950, Finch got his rematch. The venue was Nottingham. The stakes were the British middleweight title. Finch went down twice in the early rounds, but he got up, regrouped, and boxed his heart out for 15 brutal rounds. When the final bell rang, he was the new British champion. The crown didn't stay on long. Just 6 months later, Randolph Turpin returned the favor, stopping Finch with a heavy punch in round 5. It was clear Finch couldn't keep cutting down a middleweight, so he stepped up to light heavy, where the punches landed harder and the nights got colder. He strung together 7 straight wins and earned a shot at Don Cockle's British and European light heavy titles. But Cockle caught him with a shot he never saw coming and ended in the 7th. That didn't stop Finch. He kept going. Another title shot came against Alex Buxton in 54, another KO loss. A third came in 56 against Ron Barton. Same result. Each loss took something, but none of them took everything. Even as the knockouts came more often, Finch never walked into the ring looking for a way out. Whether it was in London, Birmingham, or even Stockholm, where he beat Jim Cooper by disqualification, Finch showed up, gloved up, and went to work. His final fight came in 1958. Noel Trigg dropped him in the 3rd. Finch didn't fight again, but he didn't walk away from boxing either. He went back to Croydon, to the meat market and the local gyms, guiding younger fighters with the same grit that carried him through over a decade in the ring. Albert Finch never became a world champion. He never became a household name, but he became something better, real. He was the kind of fighter who never pretended to be more than he was, but always fought like he could be. And in boxing, that's enough to be remembered. He wasn't the flashiest. He didn't chase the spotlight. But Albert Finch had something that can't be taught. He showed up. Through the wins, through the losses, through every tough round when it would have been easier to stay down, he stood back up. He boxed for more than glory. He boxed because it was in him, part of who he was. And long after the cheers faded and the title shots dried up, he kept giving back, helping the next generation lace their gloves a little tighter, stand a little taller. Albert Finch may not be carved into boxing's biggest monuments, but for those who watch him fight, and those he helped afterward, his name still carries weight. Maybe not in gold, but in something just as lasting: respect.